Drew looked on in horror at the twisting form of Nellie, her body contorting hideously as she transformed. More than a dozen others watched with him, some frozen in place, others running for home. The transformation didn't take long, perhaps 20 seconds, before Nellie was gone, replaced in body and mind, the virtual realm damaged by the transformation. Grass now frozen mid-frame, a perfectly square patch of ground, drained of any colour, exactly the appearance of Rudolph's arm. Nellie's replacement was well known. Even in this pseudo-fantasy village, everyone had seen his face, the news reporting on him every day. It was the face of the Orisa virus, the face of the ambassador that started it all. People began to run. Most followed the road to the portal, others scattering to the forest. Drew grabbed his sword, fashioned from the horn of a Centrosaurus he had fought a few months back, charging for the now chortling Orisa. He didn't dodge, or even ready himself for the attack. His face contorted into a Cheshire grin. He did not need to dodge, though. His 2.5-meter pan-human form was built for power and resilience. Drew's blade barely making a mark on the balefully glowing skin. Orisa reacting to the attack only after Drew's failed assault. With a wave of his hand, Drew was sent to the floor, the thud of the impact ringing in his ears. The ambassador, still laughing that terrible laugh, was doubled in his vision. Even the cartoon birds effect he had earned was in place, a halo of chirping yellow creatures with tiny wings, absurd to the proportion of their round bodies. Through it all, he watched as Orisa began to walk away. The grass animations and floor texture drained from every build space as he walked. Antiviral software kicked into motion in Drew's mind, fighting off a viral attack. He could already feel it, his mind getting smaller and slower as the virus attempted to compress him. Struggling to his feet, he could see Rudolph now, standing atop Storehouse 2, bow in hand. Though he was not firing, he was staring at the arrow he had loosed, now the same pale colour as the ground, frozen in the air where it had touched the ambassador. Rudolph's eyes darted from the arrow to his own arm, before dropping to the ground. Dumping the bow back into his inventory, he charged Orisa, leaping into a punch with his own pallid blow. The strike landed hard into his kidney, causing him to stagger to the side, clearly hurt by the hit. Even the cackling subsided as he turned to face the diminutive form of Rudolph, not yet fully grown, and not likely to exceed 1.8 meters when he is. It was as though he was 5 and just picked a fight with his dad. Orisa swung a right hook, Rudolph dropping to a roll to avoid the fist, bringing him to the ambassador's side again. This time he leapt upward, aiming for the face, his magical fist thrusting him forth and connecting with the left side jaw with a satisfying crack. The blow staggered him again. This time Rudolph was ready to capitalize on it, hitting the floor and backhanding a knee, the second blow toppling the giant, landing heavily on his back and crushing a small wooden fence. Stunned for a moment, he didn't even see the haymaker coming, Rudolph aiming for the softest part of a man. The ambassador howled, though it wasn't enough to stop the onslaught. The second and third blows to his exposed belly as the ambassador succumbed to the character death rules of this realm, items exploding from his fading form. Rudolph showered with coins, that had belonged to Ellie. For a moment, he stood over the items, searching for a sign of Ellie, before rushing toward the town's respawn point, using his town leader status to pause all respawns, fearful that it will not be Ellie that returns. Now paused, he could examine the waiting list. There was only one entry on it, a string of letters and numbers, not the name he had hoped to see. He could not risk letting it out, not after what the fight had just cost him. The pale flesh of his magical arm had once stopped at his elbow, but since the fight it had spread. His entire arm and some of his shoulder now as pale as his hand. The moment of contemplation was broken by the sound of cackling, that hideous laugh issuing forth from the lips of another Orisa, the last remnants of Drew's form fading away, until all that was left was the ambassador, his grin cutting across his wild-eyed visage.